Maybe? Okay, there we go. Hi, chat. What a great start. So let's close this. So today is one of the days. Well, I can actually lower the game slightly, I think. Oh, it is on the back here, like this. That should be fine. I can't hear myself at the moment, unfortunately. So I just have to hope that it's good enough. It looks like it's fine here. Right. So I've been spending the last, I don't even know how long, little while going through some Spot SDK things alongside some using some deep research tokens to get some, how should I say, some something to stand on, right? So I have this thing here because I asked about the sensibility of utilizing the previous things which we had. Because if we just check out our stack here for a second, this is the old one. This is the ugly one. I should probably use the reflector version in the thing later. I will probably do that. I probably won't fix that now. I'll just look at this version for now. So basically, this is the old project, which you can find 2 videos of on the channel, I would imagine, of the Spot robot walking around a predefined little area, looking around himself for balls, and when he notices a ball, because he looks around with his gripper arm, and then when he sees a ball, he goes and picks up the ball, and then he goes to the specified fiducial where the trash can is located. He goes to a specified post which we had created to then drop the ball. Then he walks back a little bit, and then rinse and repeat until he can't find any more balls, and then he's done. That was implemented using a behavior tree, using PyTrees, and directly working with the Spot SDK. That's fine, right? This code is a piece of shit. There's a fuck ton of things in here. This isn't very well done, right? I know they've refactored it, which is the version I'm gonna fix later. I'm probably won't do it off stream. So what I'm basically, and the reason, okay, so first of all, the reason we sort of ended up doing things the way we did was because we could not get the GraphNav system to work with the manipulation system, which seemed like a bug, which we never got we never found a fix. We didn't spend super much time on it, as far as I understand, right? This was a thing that my colleagues found. And then we eventually just said, "Nah, fuck this thing. We'll move on with life," and we did, which is fine. But I hope to at least a little bit look into how things are. If we can get things to work the way we want to, because that would be very, very useful. And it feels like if that was a bug in the way which we thought it was, we should be able to find some information on that somewhere on the internet, right? Because it's such a big thing that clearly we gotta have fucked something up. And that's one of the things which I want to try and find out is, can I find a fix for that? Right? That would be cool. Sorry, I am quite sick. I've been sick today. I think I've gone to the toilet maybe 6 times today. I just had a very small shit, right? Because my stomach's been. Yeah, I don't know. So I hope to feel better. So I'm not entirely sure, alright, because there's a few days until we'll probably start with this thing on Monday, right? Which is fine. So I'm just sort of scouting things out, trying to read through some documentation, trying to to build an understanding. Because there's a lot of things to read about. There's a lot of things to read about, which is very, very useful, but it's a lot. Yeah. So yeah, so I was, before I was turning the stream on, I was reading through this thing here. Like, it says a bunch of shit about, which I agree with, about behavior trees being useful in the scenario, which I would agree with, having worked with them and having read a bit about them and stuff. Task sequencing. This all makes sense so far. Yeah. Behavior trees, I get them to take a loop. Yep, they do. Selecting. Yeah, it should work out. Yeah, and there's the supposed BT packets, which we might look into using. We'll see. That's a because we didn't end up using it. The other thing, because that's literally just PyTrace, right? I mean, we did the same thing that this does, with just copy pasting like their code, right? So I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we will use that. I'm not sure yet. The ROS with behavior trees, yeah, we want to integrate with ROS. I just don't think we will have the. I think we're skill issued. We're too skill issued to get ROS to work nicely with what we're doing. Here it says something interesting, which I clicked on this link and then it just did not take me to where I wanted it to. So that's interesting. Logic, sequential tasks, support concurrencies. Yep. Support mission GUI. Learning curve, yeah, sure. Which we have a little bit of. Bank image visualization tools. Yeah. So we might switch from PyTrace. Just so we can have a visualizer that like exists. Very simple overhead, yeah, sure. Manage a Blackboard, yeah, which we read more about places, which I agree with. Those service products needed, improve for skill development and physical in patrol and door opening tasks. Given the spot's official tools and prior project using behavior trees, it's a solid choice to continue with PyTrees. I would agree. Spot capabilities for navigation and manipulation. Yeah, the API is good. We have access to a bunch of shit, like almost too much stuff. Motion navigation, perception, and or manipulation. We also consider the joint control API, where there's a lot of interest needed. Here's a breakdown. Yeah. Out of the box, Spot can be command to walk, turn, climb stairs via the Spot SDK robot command interface. Yes, I agree with this. So far, I agree. High-level autonomy is facilitated by GraphNav. It is, or it can be, I should say. It's their own SLAM. You can record a map of indoor environment with waypoints, which we hope to do, right? Because we couldn't do that previously, because we couldn't get the thing to work with the manipulation thing. So we had to give up on that. But that's one of the things which I want to first spend time on, is just making sure we can actually like get a proper map working. We can actually just move around with using GraphNav, because that would be super useful. And like if we want to like be able to actually patrol around in ways which are like useful, right? These things won't be useful in the real world, but it could be, right? It would be way cooler if we can move around and actually showcase like different doors and then etc. Right, starting from a point, go to another thing, go for like two different types of doors and such. That would be cool. Um, in practice, this means you can create a patrol route by recording key locations, holding action lab or room A, and then on the BT. Navigate to the waypoints in order to put K or equivalent. Yeah. But work to go learn path planning and obstacle avoidance and so on. Yeah. So we get so many things for free. This is adventure. You need to implement your own slam. Yes, which we don't have the skills primarily, right? But we don't have the resources to really do that, given the project size of like 20 weeks. 20 weeks is plenty of time, right? Don't get me wrong, but it's also not infinite time. And leveraging graph noise is advisable. You'll first use the tablet or API map, area label waypoint, including point to the door. And program can simply instruct spot to go to a waypoint and the robot will handle low level walking, balancing, and basic obstacle avoidance. Yeah, which is good. Definitely obstacle avoidance is mainly reactive. Yeah. If we put a fucking door in the place, we might have a problem. Taking the obstacle falls, using depth cameras, assistance in the route. Also, yeah, exactly. So it's not AGI levels of robust, right? That can probably be continue to move to iterate upon, especially using like the new like vision action models and things. They seem really cool. I don't think we will have time to use that, but maybe if we can get a basic version of this working and people can then stand up on our shoulders to move forward. That's like the goal, right? Yeah, that's direct velocity and post commands. R mode where the post useful when opening a door. Arm post. Features mean you can program complex movements without dealing with leg level control. Arm grip and sensors. The depth data, yes, has what the kit does not provide an out-of-the-box door or handle detection algorithm. I mean, they have some things. Right, I haven't entirely looked at the code. You must implement integrated perception logic decided when and where to open a door. Right, yes, I agree. At the same time, there are things in here which are useful. Open door main. Requires an arm. Keys is required. Using the take make this a bit less painful. Yeah. There are shit in here which is like, little behavior sequence for commanding to open the door. Yeah. So what I'm imagining here is that we're gonna have to. This is probably the similar function or even the same function as we used in here. Yeah. And then here is some fucking code of all time, man. For the buff. Right. Bunch of shite in here. Which these are like the things which we're initially gonna, if this example does not work well, this is the first place we have to look, right? We're gonna have to go into here and like muck about with things and see if we can make things work. What if we give... No, okay, it fucking knows. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm not talking much at the moment. I'm like reading and thinking. Because yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, again, if we can make it work, it can work. Spot armor is not built on skill avoidance, perception of his own. Yeah, we know. It's easier for a task like pushing it or one in contact. It doesn't want one damage from external objects if misused, so keep opening the doors to prevent. The execution must be planned carefully. Yes, absolutely. Joint control API is an advanced feature that gives us direct control of each joint, both legs and arms. I update rates. It essentially lets you send desired joint position velocities to works in stream by passing spots, high level locomotion and manipulation logic. This is powerful but comes with significant complexity. It's beta, required a special license, often provided to selected research partners. Yeah, we have, well, we currently don't have access to it, but we will have access to it soon enough. Yeah, so that's fine. We will have access. Unit level control means you're taking on responsibility for stability. You're commanding leg joints directly. Could easily destabilize the robot. It's not fully manageable. Manage post-dynamic notice interface similar to what their own developers use in internal for implementing behaviors. Essentially, it's there if you want to write your own whole body control or reinforcement learning algorithms for Spot. I would like to do some cool RL stuff. Unless you feel specified about locomotion control or learning new gates, you probably do not need to join the API for door opening patrol. A level SDK already provides a tool for walk manipulates. You'd only drop joint control if this is insufficient. You need a custom real-time control loop, which would be cool to do, right? But I don't know. Maybe we'll do some cool gate stuff. It would be nice to have like a some fucking. But yeah, it's unlikely to happen. One potential reason to use unit control is to find coordinate body motion with one forces, for example, fancy leg bracing on more dynamic motions, but implementing that reliability is a large effort. Given the project scope, it's advisable to stick to the standard SDK command. which abstracts away the low-level details, which will save time and reduce risks. You can still achieve tasks using those APIs without touching joint control. It's capable of supporting this product needed provides mobility out of the box. It both can handle balance walk and start on its own. It has well-documented API. It's really well documented. I am super happy that we get to use like, you know, it's a professional big fucking company that's been around for like 30 years. Like, they have written a lot of good fucking API stuff here. Like, the documentation is vast, and that is so nice. And there's so many examples of stuff, right? Like, it's otherwise would it be overwhelming to implement from scratch in a short project. The main limitations to be mindful of are the need to have a predefined map for navigation, which is one-time setup task, which is fine. The lack of automatic perception of specific tasks. Integrate some solutions, detecting doors and handles, and lack of arm collision avoidance, requiring these are showstoppers. These are design the solution. I agree. It's also worth noting that if you prefer ROS-based approaches, there's a ROS driver for Spot, developed by ClearPath Robotics and the community. Driver represents Spot that came to ROS topic sections, allowing the use of ROS navigation to move it for the arm. Some forks of the drivers even have specific support for door opening and docking behaviors. Really? Door. Am I blind? Where the fuck is the word door in anywhere in here? I think I'm being trolled. I don't know. It's not impossible that we'd use something like this, but like, I would like to use ROS, right? It would be extremely useful to use ROS, but however, introducing ROS in the loop can add complexity. Given you already have a patch set up, you might not need ROS at all. Yeah, we are unlikely to use ROS if we're going to utilize the setup we already have. We will have to abandon ROS, right? Unfortunately, but it is what it is. It's fine. We're not married to it, but you can call that directly on Python. The ROS route might make sense if you want to use existing ROS packages. For example, if you had a ROS-based door detector or wanted to use a move it motion planner for the arm. In limited infrastructure scenarios, sticking with the Spot SDK and Python is likely a path of least resistance, and many research groups do exactly that for custom Spot projects. Yeah, so that's likely what we'll end up doing. I totally agree with what this thing is saying. It makes sense. It's unfortunate. I would love to utilize ROS in this project, right? To get more familiar with ROS, because it's the primary thing that's used out there, right? Having good ROS experience is probably fairly valid if you're gonna go into proper robotics stuff, right? It's not required. Not everything is in ROS, right? But it's cool. And I mean, yeah, especially if we're gonna go like the researchy route, which I don't know if I will. Maybe I might. Yeah. Bringing the behavior tree and together involves creating an action in the tree that calls both API and conditions that check robot states or environment states to say transitions. Fortunately, it's integrated straightforward in Python. Designing the trees, navigate blah 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 da 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 blah blah blah. This makes sense, sure. Sequence approach, yeah, sure, yep. Open, skip door opening, otherwise, yeah, sure. I've read this loosely, but yes. Implementing action conditions using PyTorch will likely create custom behavior classes for spot actions. For example, navigate to waypoint. Yep, this is what we've done in the thing. To action nodes would component appear to navigate to the given waypoint and the block until the robot reports arrival or failure. You might use the SDK's feedback to use the nodes. Yes, this is exactly what we've done. He has predicted what we did, which, I mean, yeah, that's how you do it. It's very good that it says this in this way, right? Similarly, the open door action node could encapsulate the sequence. The spot on command to call the source service conditions and include restore closed, which you can implement by checking a Blackboard variable, perhaps using the camera. Simple could light or see substance go the door in front of it. Yeah, maybe that's not a bad first like approximation or whatever. Oh, the fucking my parents' car decided to speak to me. Blackboard can hold data like this to handles if computer sufficient routine. Blackboard, as mentioned, BT Blackboards can hold data like the pose of the door handle if computed by a vision routine so that the arm action can retrieve it. Sure to use Blackboard keys and scope properly. For instance, vision behavior could run pose and sure. Small projects integrating testing on real robots will be crucial. You can unit test some logic in simulation using Spot's dry run. So this has a simulator mode for the API. SDK has a simulator mode. Does it? Wait, what? Spot SDK simulator. Because I think that it didn't. There's some fucking guy who wrote something 5 years ago. Can you fuck off? Yeah, sure. Quadrupedal by my boys. Oh, my AirPods are about to die. Interesting. Well, I'm not really reading. Why do we need ROS drivers for Spot? Yeah, sure. Spot Micro. Okay, so there are things which, okay. Spot Micro has possible areas inspire developers to design smaller and less expensive robots. One of them is Spot Micro. Oh, it's a small little robot guy. Oh, he's adorable! I love him. TS and lessons from development. Get a quadrupedal. Post over the simulation build here on this page. I love him. He's so cute. Get environment. Model. It's fucking adorable. I kind of want one. The community. Oh, it's just okay. It's just different things for this page. That's fine. Collect all the things. Raspberry Pi 4. I'm gonna use a 5. Get fucked, liberals. IMU, Bluetooth module. OLED screen. This should probably be a standardized interface. It should probably have a little variability as possible. Okay. Print so much prices. I mean, this might actually just be possible to like build, right? Like it's not for the project specifically, right? But in general, this would be really cool. It would be very nice, and it could be a fun summer project or something. Right. Just to be a little guy. How much would this thing weigh? Can Spot carry it with his arm? Because he couldn't carry the other guy. He was a little too heavy. But like 2 kilo. Well, 1.5 kilos, I think. Which is enough that like I wouldn't dare to pick him up. There's a little Unity robot, which one day when I got to the lab in the morning, there's just a small little dog next to the big dogs. Like, what the fuck? What happened here? Testing. Can you guys notice that I've stopped? So a simple scenario, please spot on navigation, tweak parameters, and reliable. Okay, cool. Examples in libraries will know the spot BT from Sandy or BT for common spot actions, good save time, save implement system autonomic demo. Moving between fiducials. This also rows 2 behavior tree package. Yep, I know about spot BT rows. Which if we got the ROS things to work properly, we would have probably used. Declare path spot. Try reduce it. Tufts fork. Using this would require writing C++. I mean, yeah. I have written a little bit of C++ code in my life, but not as much as I would have liked. I took a C++ course. I didn't finish it because I gave up on the exam because I was going to finish a math exam, which was more important. Then I failed the math exam anyway. So that is one of the biggest fuck up of my life. Not really, right? But it's up there as one of the yikes moments. You can likely avoid what's overhead and directly control spot. Yeah, we're probably not doing that. Extremely useful reference to Armbro example. Shows how the door opening using built-in services. The graph of mission example. PI might not use the mission service, which would have you upload. It's the mission service. Yeah, no, we're unlikely to use that. We'll probably use the navigation things, right? And we'll just have our own mission, so to speak. I got another fucking text message from. Apparently, there's some problem with the car. Why do I get the fucking messages for this? It's not my fucking car. I am not. I do have an account and a profile linked to that car because I need to get into the fucking car, right? I am not the owner of it. Right? That's ridiculous. Regardless. God fucking, can they shut the fuck up, please? Okay, I did not read this because I got distracted, but yes. Community project, Team Cosmo. Portal used batteries on spot for the behavior mission tree. Yeah, as soon as the purchase select door opening, could offer insight and publication. Ontario power generation producers for driving elevators and opening doors, like using a combination of graph and manipulation, which aren't published to demonstrate SDK complex achievable. Holy fuck, how much more of this fucking guy written? Holy. But this is good. Integration complexity. We're involved integrating several components, navigating vision manipulation, ensuring they all work together reliably is non-trivial. Yeah, but a lot of them, like, we get so many things for free. That's like the reason that we will likely be able to complete this. Behavior trees help manage complexity, but don't eliminate it. Yeah. It would be nice if things if complexity just could be just eliminated. Just shoot them in the fucking head, right? That's unfortunately not how real life works. So testing strategy and perhaps simulation or dry runs to iron out logic bugs. I agree. If you and your team are new to either behavior trees, well, we've used them a little bit, or the Spot SDK, I have used it a little bit. There will be a learning curve. Yes, Spot SDK, while well documented, has its quirks. These systems, time synchronization, etc., the robot behaviors may sometimes be surprising. It's perceived a risk. Is that a thing? Fucking bonked his nose on a glass once. So I don't think so, but it's time for familiarization with the API and hardware. Yes. The limitations. Relying on GraphNav means the environment should be relatively static and known. If a door's environment changes significantly from the recorded map, yeah, sure. We rely here on the world being at least a little bit static. That's not true in the real world, but that introduces a fuck ton of complexities in which will need to be handled if this was a real thing, right? But it's not really, so it should be fine. With yeah, sure. I don't even know if we'll get that far, right? This would require adding something like cross navigation stack, which is outside of the current scope. Yes, thank you. I agree. Door manipulation difficulty. Opening a door is at the edge of Spot's capabilities. It's doable, but one of the more complex tasks, short of programming, it's to climb ladders. That's a fucking. First of all, that's really fucking funny. That's really funny. That's such an exaggeration, man. Mechanical factors like door stiffness, handle type, and environment, slippery floor, yeah, can affect success, of course. Expect to spend a fair amount of time tuning this. Also, reliability might be an issue. In Boston Dynamics demo, occasionally shows Spot failing a grasp and needing a couple of tries. Your brevity should account for that. Try twice, then fail gracefully. This is not much flaw in brevity. Give it a practical consideration. Be prepared for trial and error and possibly limiting the scope. Maybe focus on one type of door. Yes. On the flip side, achieving a door open is a very impressive result for a thesis. It's often worth the effort. So yeah. Joint API is not utilized. The reason as reasoned, you likely won't use the UAPI into a downside. You might not be able to exactly replicate some flashy moves like the leg brace. Fine, however, using high-level commands is far safer at this stage. Only consider joint control if you hit a wall with normal API, for example, if you find arm control to be too imprecise for a certain door and handle a custom force trajectory. But the SDK already offers force commands and impedance control, which usually suffice. Will usually suffice. In short, not using joint control is hardly a con, it's a sensible scoping decision. I would probably agree. It would be cool to do, and it's nice to have access to it. I don't think they have bought the license yet, as far as I know from. Because I haven't heard anything else about it, really. All right. Leverage your existing PyTorch framework, sketch the behavior structure for the patrol mission, and identify all the leaf nodes you'll need to implement. Start implementing and testing them one by one. For instance, get navigation waypoint node working with Spotcraft Nav API to go from point A to point B in your maps. Verify Spot does it consistently. Then implement basic open door nodes, perhaps using the door service with manual inputs first. Press the key to invoke position your Spot node incremental development to build a confidence in each component. Keep the tree design modular. Use Spot autonomy features. Save time using GraphNav for navigation. Map the environments beforehand. We will do that. Identify where doors and ensure waypoints either side of each door in the map. This way, the behavior trees can instruct Spot to navigate to a door waypoint and perform door actions and continue. Manipulation API and door service. Try out the arm door example, providing by Boston Dynamics on your robot. If you exit those examples, we do. It would be hell if we didn't. This will require you manually clicking on the door handle, but it will confirm the Spot form and software can actually do the physical door opening. If it works, that's great. Then your door is automate. Then your job is to automate the detection and handle hinge. So we think that we will need to tweak it. That's like the reason. The whole reason we've done this from the beginning is to tweak this thing, right? Because I heard from the primary handler of the robot that apparently he has a problem opening the doors here in Sweden, which is the whole reason why it's like, when I heard that, my fucking ears perked up immediately. Like, first of all, why? Right? I haven't talked to him about it, which, interesting. But yeah, we want to make sure that like it works. You'll need to implement the door opening with lower level ARM commands yourself. In that case, break the task into steps. Approach, align, grasp. Teasing pose. ED monitor when the handle turns. Yes. We think we're gonna need to get into some nitty-gritty details there in order to first of all understand why it's not working and how to fix it. Right? That's sort of where my head is at about it all. Is for something. Hopefully will. If pull door grip the handle and enabling drag mode while commanding the base step back for a push door, might just command to push it open while walking towards slowly. Since the project can stop dimming intervention, move to autonomy, design systems to allow manual takeover at certain points. For example, if we could have a condition like open door successfully ? Let's go into a sub mode that prompts for human assistance. That's a really good. Spot Machine API even has a prompt node for an operator question. Yeah. Beyond code, you can simply pause and wait for the user input, press H to halt and take over control, or press C to confirm the door is opened. This way, during early development or demos, the autonomy fails, the human can step into to teleop spot or manually open the door and then resume the mission. Fail-safe ensures you can still, yes, exactly. Leverage open source and community knowledge. Don't hesitate to look at how these have structured similar products. Repository, clear path for us, may insight and certain actions. Their approach, opening door, Tuft Forks community forums. Given the spot is used in many research labs, you might find a lab that did indoor patrol project. Any published paper or article could be a goldmine for lesson learned. For instance, security bulletproof is noted. Yes, I have read this one. I know where this one goes. Yes. This guy uses the SDK. I have not read through this entire thing, but I have seen this. Isn't this the one with the really nice pictures? I know there's one spot project here in Lund which had like beautiful pictures. Don't think this one is it. No. It's not. These are good pictures, but they're not. They were very stylish. Very, very stylish, which is cool. But yeah, this isn't it. There's another paper publisher in Lund, it was like the graphics were incredible. Like they looked fucking professional as shit. They were like monochromatic, so they were like white and like the robot was like very yellow and like with a cool outline. It looked really epic. It looked really cool. Safety and ethics. Ensure you follow Bolsonaro's guideline for safe operation. Indoor patrol means spot will be around people or vital infrastructure. Always test with an e-stop in hand, since the arm has no obstacle avoidance. Be extra cautious when moving it in confined spaces. You don't want to punch door frames or computer monitors by accident. Only execute the door opening subtree if certain conditions are met. Precision, blah, 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 blah. Yes. We should be able to do things. This is the conclusion from reading this one here. Nice. Awesome. I feel a little better about my life. Let's go here for a second. There's this paper which I want to go through it, right? Because these set the scope of what we will likely accomplish, right? They are fairly similar to what we're aiming to do, and scopes out nicely like how big we literally are banned. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. When was this published again? Like not long ago. I think it's 23. Should say somewhere. Oh, wait, was this last year? Damn. I think it was. Cool. I mean, yeah, I want to read through this in more detail. I don't know if I'll do it now or later. Let's see here. I've been streaming for about 45 minutes. Cool. So this is this one I want to go through in more detail because it seems very useful. And it was literally done a year ago with our supervisor, right, and the other guy, which like it all makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these guys literally do surveillance, right? So this is very simple. I mean, they do the. So I would. Like, I have read through parts of this before. My understanding is basically they do some. They look for people and things in order to do things. I don't know. I'm unlikely to read through the whole thing. It is like 50 pages, right? Well, closer to 60. It's in fact exactly 60, which is like about where we will probably end up landing, right? Which feels good, right? Looking at this thing, it feels like it will be a lot of work, but it probably will be doable. There is the hope. All right, what am I feeling right now? I don't know. All right, I mean, I shouldn't sit there and look at memes, but All right, cool. That's a little break or something. Let's go over the Deus Ex and stuff, maybe. I should move the thing to the refactored code. Would be a good idea. If I'm just gonna sit here and fucking read quietly, I might not stream that, honestly. Yeah. So it's really abstract. The growing market for enhanced security combined with recent advancement in robotic technology, the possibility of integrating these two fields is of considerable interest. While traditional surveillance relies on mounted cameras and scheduled guard tours by humans, the next step would be to use robots to replace a person in such a system. Yeah, well, the next step of anything is replacing the robot to complete the humans into such systems, right? That's like the problem or something. This project explores the integration of autonomous robotics in security systems by developing and implementing a robotic guard tower using Boston Dynamics Spot Robot. An external thermal camera and computer vision algorithm were used to monitor the environment and respond to anomalies. Utilizing Spot's existing capability, the primary objective was to evaluate the robot's ability to dynamically alter its predefined inspection route based on real-time sensor input, specifically detection of anomalies. So they walk around, they see things which are not the way they want them to be. Can we make the robots respond to that in ways which are smart or at all? Maybe it's the correct word. Results gathered at the mechanical engineering building at LTH and the Vipen construction site in Lund shows that the robot effectively adjusted its route in response to detected anomalies, demonstrating enhanced surveillance capabilities. The finding in different settings, LTH controlled environment versus the dynamical changes conditions at the construction site, prove that the robot could successfully conduct guard tours under both constant and variable conditions. The use of behavior trees and enabled decision making and route management, suggesting potential improvements for future deployment to achieve more dynamic and autonomous surveillance operations. Thesis highlights the adaptability of autonomous robotic systems in complex and dynamic environments. Cool! This all makes sense. I don't need to read Ignotant one more time. A bunch of figures of shit. Environmental cameras in both places. Stores for. Sharing safety. Why do you need a fucking. Why do you have a. Like, of course that's the case. Public areas heavily rely on video surveillance for security, or cameras are placed to monitor crowds, detect suspicious behavior, and prevent. Is it used to detect suspicious? Well, I guess it is, but not in real time. Outside of maybe China. Today, many customers use intrusion alarm access control and video management systems with scheduled guard tours performed by trained security personnel. Persons sources to verify that no unauthorized persons are at the site, that the premises are in good shape. Yeah, I also claim it to be a deterrent. Right? If you know that there are guards mucking about, you're less likely to even try there, right? The fact that you can like see them and stuff. Example of verification tasks include asking people for identification, making sure doors are properly closed and locked, and the fences are not tampered with, and that valuables are not stolen. Yeah. Seotech systems states that these systems are capable of identifying a range of emergencies, from natural disasters to dangerous situation caused by humans to real-time surveillance. Yeah, sure. Previous work, several projects where robots are used for inspecting on a construction site or in an industrial environment has been made. For example, the master's thesis building dense reconstructions with SLAM and Spot, evaluates the use of Spot to quadruped robot designed by Dynamics, the platform for site inspection. The evaluation took place at some constructions at Japan, which is also the site of this project. Furthermore, Nilsson provided useful insight on how to operate on Spot. Polentico di Torino conducted masterpieces, autonomous mobile robot configuring autonomous inspection system in collaboration with the company Sprint Reply. Perform routine inspection to value meters in the plant was okay. Automated planning. I think I've read this one. Wait, let me check Overleaf. Log into Google. Why doesn't it have the other account? Let's use this one. I don't even know if I have access from here. Yes, I do. No, I don't. That's annoying. It's the wrong account. Wait, do I have a version of it somewhere? It's on Google. It's on, well, it's, yeah, I can access it through here. Let's see. Here, port versions, I would assume. It would be this one. So this is the thing we wrote. Anderson. Developing high-level behavior. Spot using automated planning. Ha! It's this one. It's kind of cool. I mean that. It feels good to like. Oh look, I have seen this thing before. Right. That feels confidence building. Thomas Planet to target. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I haven't read that. I read part of it. I read a little bit of it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Implement the method for defining a robotic guard for specific aspects of the route. Yes. Okay. Cool. Individual contribution. Allowed to onboard. Contributed equally. Yeah. Transfer autonomous robots. Explain behavior trees. We would like to talk a bit about experimental setup. Cool. Simultaneous streaming from all 4 sensors. Wait, why are you using now? In this product, external cameras were mounted on the robot, and the frontal camera sensor and RGB sensor was connected to the main unit. Why? And if you need RGB for the whole thing, sure, but otherwise you have the fucking. I guess you don't have access directly to the data, then I assume. But I think don't you actually? Well, maybe you don't. I haven't looked that deep into it, but that sounds weird. Sure. That just feels like an extra fucking step. Do they have like images of that somewhere? It weighs 52 kilos without the arm. Length of blah. Are we gonna write shit like this? Why? Agrippa. Actually 40 kilos. Just the fucking arm weighs 8 kilos. That feels like a lot. Sure, I mean. Maybe. Maybe, I mean. I'm drawing inspired by Boston Yeah? Okay, a bunch of information about things. SDK. I think we have this exact image in our report thing somewhere. You scroll up far enough. Here. Wait, that's not the same. Wait, isn't it? No, it's this. Well, okay, so it's not the same image, but it's the same image. where is this from? We have also taken it from them. We probably stolen it directly. Actually, I don't remember where they took this from, but I've seen this image somewhere. It's like, wait, I recognize this. Yes, because it's just this image. It's just the same image. Like the tablet here is just a picture of the tablet, which looks a little nicer, I'd say. They probably did this in a program and we just stole it. I should read more things. You can connect to him in different ways. Like, is this fucking relevant, man? Do you have to write a bunch of shit about things which, like, is unimportant? You probably do. That's like the whole thing. And it just feels bad, man. It's just a little bit of a feels bad, man. Bunch of service. I mean, we should be able to replicate similar things here and just like move with life, and that feels good. This is like useful insight. I should read through that in more detail. Let me link dump this thing. If I go here. Textjobb får alltid ha som yeah, it feels like there should be useful things here. 42 layers of what? Photo information becomes highly complex as it manages various failed scenarios, resulting in significant depth for 42 layers. Holy! Nevertheless, at its fundamental level, the structure remains relatively simple, especially providing to the robot with instructions to navigate to a specific location and perform specific actions. Yeah, sure. That things sort of makes sense. Yeah, and then they do things here, data set of things, train model something. I'm not losing interest, but I am I'm not even overwhelmed. I don't even know. I should make food at some point. I'm getting a tiny bit hungry. I'm getting a tiny bit hungry. It's gonna take a little while to make food today. Shouldn't be a huge effort, but there is some amount of effort at least, which is good. Yeah, sure. I feel like I'm at least gaining a little bit of insight in things, which feels good. I find it incredible that this thing fucking worked. Or something. Also a true value in 0.2. Yeah. Do they have pictures from that as well? That would be useful. No? Okay. Bunch of navigation things. Okay. For the construction site. So here they don't detect anomalies then. Okay, you showed as an example and I see. Yeah, I agree. Further work, things, conclusion. Like, nice, right? This isn't impenetrable. It's not impenetrable, which is good. For a second, I thought I'd accidentally mute the microphone, which would have been very sad. Yeah. There's more things to read. There's more things to do. Got a few months to do this thing. I'm very, very excited to get started. I think this is going to be really fun. Hopefully a highlight of my life. But yeah, I'm thinking about ending stream here, going to make some food. I don't think I'm going to the gym today. I'm feeling a little bit sick and I think a rest day would be useful. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe I'll go later in the evening. But I kind of want to start. I might skip today. And hopefully I have the discipline to turn my shit off and actually go to bed early today. Because yesterday I was sitting up and playing Slay the Spire way too late in the evening, which is very immature of me, if nothing else, right? So I tried to do that less. That's the goal. Maybe we'll even get there. All right, but thank you guys for indulging me in this hour. I will be back at other points, hopefully. I like this new microphone setup thingy here, right? Because it's not just over here, like being in the way. It's like I can put my arm here, Otherwise, I couldn't do that, right? So that feels good. Don't know why this thing something here, but yeah, I mean, this stream is not super fun to look at, right? I'm just reading things, but I did feel like talking about it helped a little bit, so I'll probably do that more. Yeah, but have a lovely rest of your first day, and maybe I'll stream a little bit tomorrow. We'll see.